and welcome back to another disability video talking about disabled poverty. This is something that was recently brought to my attention, and something I find really sad is all of these children with disabilities who are really struggling because of their financial situation. As someone with a disability myself who struggled so much as a child, I can only imagine how much worse it would have been if I was in a difficult financial situation. So that's what I want to talk about today, because I really think that we need to spread awareness for all of the difficult situations that these children are in. When you have a disability, things like getting jobs can be really difficult, but even just living day to day, depending on your disability, life can be challenging sometimes. And because of this, finding jobs when you have a disability can be really challenging, especially when a lot of people don't want to hire you if you have a more complex disability. Even if you are qualified for the job, they'd rather go with an able-bodied person just because it's a lot easier on them, and that is truly sad. This is why so many disabled people, both kids and adults, are on a benefit to help us pay for things, but sadly this is not enough money, and although it depends on country to country, it is something that is still very sad and very difficult, is how we are not able to get the resources we need in order to have a life that we want. This is why I do YouTube, because for me, finding a job is so difficult. So by being on YouTube, I'm able to educate and spread awareness on disability to help other kids like me and help other people who are struggling with the same situation. I was lucky enough to grow up in a household where my father had a good paying job and my mother stayed at home, so she was able to look after me and my sister. I was also lucky enough to have great resources like conductive education, where I learned how to crawl and walk, something that was very difficult for me, something that was very painful for me, and there are so many kids out there who don't get these same opportunities. That's what I want to talk about right now. Opportunity. When you are disabled, you need as much help as you can, and when you are someone who's living in poverty, getting that help is very difficult. So there aren't that many opportunities for kids who are disabled to get the help that they need. I was lucky enough to grow up in a great home where my mum was able to take me to places like conductive education, and if not her, then my grandparents. And I was so lucky that I was able to learn how to walk. Although it took me a little bit longer and it was kind of painful, I was able to have that opportunity, which so many kids can't have because of their financial situation. It is important for kids like me to have these opportunities, and for kids that are going through poverty to get these resources so that they are able to have these same experiences, because it's really important that we give these children these opportunities so that they can really change their lives. Another big thing is accessibility, especially technology. Technology is changing so much, and there are so many disabled kids out there who really need technology in order to thrive, but aren't able to get things like laptops or iPads because of their financial situation. I was lucky enough that when I was in school, I was able to get some money from the government to pay for an iPad, and they supplied us with iPads in school. So that could be something else that could be put into children who live in poverty, getting them some special help through iPads and laptops so that they're able to have that technology in order to help them communicate and use technology to help them in whatever way they need. Whether they are deaf or blind or in a wheelchair and are struggling to communicate, there are things that we can do. Like I said, technology is a big one. Accessibility is a big one for kids, especially ones that are going through poverty, because they aren't able to have these same resources that other people are able to have, like their parents buying them a laptop or an iPad. These kids, maybe their parents just don't have enough money for that. Maybe they aren't able to get a good paying job because they themselves are also disabled. So there are things that we can do. A good education, technology, accessibility. There are so many things that these children need in order to thrive in the world, and although they can't afford it right now, maybe there's something we can do to help so that they are able to get a good education, try to find a good job, be able to communicate with their friends and family so that they are able to have better opportunities later on. But what can we as a society do right now? Well, the government can help by raising the money for children's disability. There are so many things we can do, from allowing transport to become easier for people living in poverty, as well as making things available to them that they don't already have, such as different services, as well as different companies or different programs reaching out, having maybe a special funded program for kids who need that help. I would have loved to play sports as a child and be able to actually have that opportunity. So I think one way we can do that is through funding. Like I said, it is just baby steps, one thing at a time. It will take a long time for any change to really happen. But as a society and a community, we can do small things to help these children be able to get different resources and help so that they can really change their lives. Like I said, whether this is making programs available to children like blind tennis, or allowing some funding for different sports, different opportunities, things like technology becoming more available to kids in poverty. That way they are able to communicate with their families, they're able to really experience new things and get the education and resources they need to be able to graduate from high school with a good job, or at least with a good education, so that they can go on to do amazing things and maybe even start a YouTube channel like I did, or go out there in the media and make change just like I am trying to do, because I think it's really important to spread awareness, educate on what disability is, why it is so important that we understand and are educated on it, so that we know what we can do to help people just like this, because it's so important that we help all kids with disabilities as well as people with disabilities, so that they are able to help the next generation. Like I said, there are so many kids in poverty whose parents are also disabled and they are struggling so much, so they need the resources as well that they didn't get as a child. That way they are able to help their children, and their children can go on to have better lives than they did. But that's all I have to say. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, then don't forget to smash it a big thumbs up. Share this video so it can spread to more people and we can help. And also don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!